Hi everyone, so today I'm going to be discussing the topic of the Islamic dress code of a Muslim woman. So, what is the Islamic dress code? In Islam, it's mandatory for women to hide their hair and to be covered all the way down to their toes. So, there isn't a certain way on how a Muslim woman should dress. However, dressing modestly is an important aspect of worship in Islam. So, there are some specific requirements that must be met, like your clothing should be thick and should not be see through. Your clothes shouldn't be too loose or too tight on the body, and your clothes should be clean and decent, and to wear such clothing that does not draw any attention to yourselves. The Islamic law Sharia states that a woman is not required to wear a burqa, which is a long, loose garment covering the whole body from the head to the toes, which is worn in public by many Muslim women till this day. The basic goal of clothing is to cover the intimate parts of the body. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has stated that certain parts of the woman's body are to be covered and other parts such as the face and hands do not need to be covered. Wearing the hijab is mandatory on all Muslim women who have reached the age of puberty. However, I do want to mention that all Muslim women do have the freedom of choice and may not be forced to wear the hijab. They should wear the hijab at their own free will whenever they're ready. In Islam, modesty is also known as haya, which means shyness and a deeper modesty that is based on faith. Our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has said that haya is from iman. In other words, basically saying that modesty is from faith. Modesty does mean to maintain a wholesome and stable society and to overall please God. The number one rule in Islamic dress code for women is to be modest, whether it's your behavior or the way you dress or the way you talk, you must remain modest at all times. So in this case, we would be talking about appearance. Um, in the Quran, there is no specific verse that states that a woman must wear the hijab. However, in chapter 24, verse 31, it does say that the believing women should lower their gaze and guard their modesty, that they should not draw their veils over their bosoms and not display their beauty except to close family members. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this verse, the female companions of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu adopted to the guidelines of maintaining a modesty dress code. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu has stated that undoubtedly modesty and faith are connected together, so when one gets away, the other one is also taken away. He has also stated that modesty only brings goodness, so the more modesty you have, the better it is for you. Maintaining the Islamic dress code isn't as hard as everyone makes it seem. You can maintain the Islamic dress code even if you're not wearing the headscarf, which is the hijab, or if you're not wearing the full body hijab, or even a burqa. You can still maintain the Islamic dress code. You can still be modest even if you're not wearing the hijab or the full body hijab, but these are just some women prefer to wear it. Some women wear the full body hijab that only exposes their eyes, whereas some Muslim women cover every part of their body but only show their hair, face, and hands. Regardless of what you choose to do, as long as your whole body is covered from your neck to your toes, you are remaining modesty. Like you're still being modest. Islamic dress code in the West and in America. So, the basic law of the Islamic dress code is to dress modestly. So, regardless of whether you are in the West or you're in America, the dress code does remain the same. However, I do want to mention that in some Islamic countries, like in the Middle East and in other countries as well, women are required to wear a full body garment as well as a religious headscarf when in a public place, and they are required to cover their face as well. Whereas in America, Muslim women aren't really required to wear a full body garment, but whereas some still do anyways, but they're not required to. When you are in the Middle East or in any Islamic country, it is important to be respectful of the dress code, out of respect for the locals and out of respect for your safety as well. In this picture to the right, you can see that the lady is visiting the Islamic country and she's not really following the dress code of that country, so that's why the ladies are looking at her and, kind of giving her like a look like, what is she wearing? So, out of respect for yourself and for the people there and for your safety as well, it's just important to adhere to the dress code of the country you're in. Some verses in the Quran that do talk about modesty and the Islamic dress code. So, in chapter 33, verse 59, it states that, O Prophet, tell your wives, your daughters, and the wives of the believers that they shall lengthen their garments, thus they will be recognized as righteous women and avoid being insulted. God is forgiver, the most merciful. So this verse is basically telling Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to ask his family members as well as other Muslim women to wear outer garments when they go out so they aren't harassed. Basically talking about the full body hijab, the religious headscarf, as well as the face covering. In chapter 24, verse 31, Allah commanded women to cover their cleavage, which is basically saying to cover your chest and any other private parts that are supposed to be covered. So, overall, maintaining the Islamic dress code of Muslim women in the West and in America is not a struggle to reach excellence and goodness. You can still be excellent whilst adhering to the Islamic dress code. There are many different ways that you can dress up and still be modest. So, yeah, that is the end of my presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.